Hi, friends. This reflection is for the second Sunday of Ordinary Time. Yes, I think most of us by now have probably taken down the Christmas decorations, and it could be a little nerve wracking, it could be a little sad, however you can phrase it. But I think if we look at the readings, from the prophet Isaiah, in which talks about that we should never, you know, be hindered by what our culture is saying. And then we fast forward to the Gospel of John, which recalls Jesus' first miracle after his baptism. Of course, he'll go spend 40 days in the desert and then he'll begin preaching. But of course, there's a miracle to all this, right? I think if there's one phrase that really sticks out the most is that do whatever he tells you. That's from Mary, that he tells the servants. And I think if we're going to take away something from the from this these weekend's messages, especially as we are a little over halfway through January, and of course the year is in full swing. Some of us maybe probably are lacking in our, whatever resolutions we made, whatever we made as our goal for 2025. Maybe it's time for us to look at the bigger picture, and that is maybe God wants us to do what He tells us. And let's face it, it's not an easy thing to do, especially in our culture, right? I agree. But Jesus works miracles every day through all of us. All that we must do is to fulfill His command to do what He tells us. Now, the other thing about the wedding of Cana, it also foretells what was to come. It kind of foreshadows in which Jesus gives His blood, and then we are asked to do it in memory of Him. And we are reminded this at every Mass. He gives His body and blood for us so that we can share it. So I think if there's one thing we could take away from all this, my friends, this is really simple. We have to ponder, how can we be a better husband? How can we be a better priest? How can we be a better religious brother or sister? How can we be a better missionary? How can we be a better friend? Because we look at our culture, friends, it's not pretty, right? It's sad. And it's disheartening with everything that is happening. But God calls us to be His faithful servants. Maybe He's calling us to overcome our vices. Maybe He's asking us to do simple things, with great love. But the most important thing as faithful fathers is to do what Jesus tells us to do. So, friends, as we reflect on the first miracle by Jesus in His public ministry, what is He telling you to do? Let Him work through you. Be that better person. And as St. Francis Sales reminds us, be who you are and be it well. I think this great Father of the Church wants us to know that we must identify ourselves as God's servants. And we must be God's servant every day. Every day God tells us to do something, whether it's a daily challenge, maybe to pray every day, maybe to reach out to someone that's been having a rough time. As a Knight of Columbus, there have been times where there have been members of the order, like my council, assembly, or whatever, that has been sick or been going through a time of duress. And in the spirit of fraternity, we have to reach out to that person and say, hey, but first of all, we're sorry. We want to pray for you. Is there anything we can do? That's how you become a better person. You think of others first, and you don't think of yourself at all. God may be calling you to be more selfless than selfish. God may be calling you to unlock your inner potential. Those are some things to ponder, friends. Now, let's face it, I don't think many of us have done a good job, with our New Year's resolutions, right? But you know what? Think of the basketball player. He misses a shot. In order to get points on the board, he has to go for the rebound, right? So just keep shooting until the ball goes through the net. It'll make a difference. Do what God calls you to do, friends. God bless.